Hey guys, and welcome to the fourth section of our video guide series. And today we're going to be talking about messaging. That's what to say and how to say it. Now, if you take only one thing from this video, from this section, I want you to make it this: when you're promoting your show, when you're advertising, when you're speaking to your prospects, speaking to your audience, what you need to be saying are things that are important to them. Okay, you need to talk about what your audience wants to hear, not what you want to say. And I hope that makes sense, because that's how I feel personally, is that when you're marketing, you should be speaking about the issues or the concerns, or speaking to your audience about how you can solve their problems. And that problem might be not enough time, or not enough parking spaces, or the ticket's too expensive, or I don't know if I'm going to like it. You need to be speaking to that. And again, that's why we do the personas in the first sections, because in that section we go over what your prospects or what your attendees are thinking, what they're feeling, so that you can provide a rebuttal, not so much a rebuttal, but you can provide feedback about what you have and how what you have solves their problems. And what we talk about in this section, it needs to be applied across your website pages, blog posts, press releases, radio, TV commercials, billboards, Facebook ads, Google, Pinterest, tweets, organic social media, YouTube videos, everywhere where you're communicating with your attendees, your prospective attendees, put into place this type of messaging where you're speaking about what they want to hear versus what you're trying to say. And like I said, it's really about what your attendees are feeling and what they need to hear from you to attend your show. And the results of using messaging that speaks better and speaks more clearly to your personas that you have, the results are going to be lower cost per clicks, better engagement. Ultimately, this is going to lead to more attendance, more of an emotional connection with your prospect, so that they're attending not only this show, but the next show that you run, whether that's in the spring or in the fall, or if it's even more recurring than that, if you're having monthly events, maybe they come to the next one, or maybe they don't come to the next one, but they tell someone who they know, and they give a great referral or a great review online about your show, because you actually spoke to them and created that connection. And what we find in marketing is that you'll oftentimes see businesses and hear businesses, not only events, but businesses in general, how they try to communicate is they describe the details or features of their product or service. I wanted to put in here a classic example is with computers. And you'll see a lot of advertising around computers that'll read something like this: buy the Dell 15-inch, 8GB RAM, 2G NVIDIA graphics card, 256 SSD drive, plus 1TB HDD, all for $16.99. That's very detail driven. That's very feature driven. You list out these specific, boring, monotonous details about the product. There's nothing setting apart a Best Buy from someone on Amazon who's selling the same thing, right? There's no, anyone can use that, and it could be for anyone. So what I mean is like that isn't targeting a specific persona. What we wanted to do here is give a better example about copy that could be used, which is more appropriate for personas. So we developed two personas for this computer seller. So let's say this is Best Buy, and Best Buy is targeting business professionals and also video gamers. To rejig that bit of copy and make it more appropriate for the business professionals, we came up with something like this: buy the portable 15-inch Dell that quickly delivers your presentations on the go, with storage space for all customer and work files, only $16.99. So you see how that kind of differentiates the proposition. You're speaking about having a portable computer, which if you're a business professional, you might care about. You might care about weight or size of it, having to lug it around in a satchel or a backpack, even your suitcase if you're doing air travel. And it also quickly delivers your presentations on the go. So we're speaking to someone, we're saying, hey, you don't want to get into a meeting room with a client or a prospect and have to fiddle around with all the cables and your mouse and your pointer. You want to just open it up and it's ready to go, right? And then it also touches on the storage component. So we got lots of storage for all of your work and customer files. And then here's the price. Now, same thing goes for the video gamers. We came up with this bit of copy. Level up your gaming with the super fast 15-inch Dell with dedicated graphics card. You won't be lagging behind. Get it today for $16.99. So now we're talking about we're using copy that speaks in the same language. So level up your gaming. So we're speaking about leveling up. Very relatable to gaming. Super fast 15-inch Dell, dedicated graphics card. So in the gaming world, what that means is a lot of graphically intensive processes go on with games. So to have a dedicated graphics card, that's going to mean that speaks to them. They're going to understand that, okay, I don't have an integrated graphics card. I got something, a piece of hardware that's going to help me play my game. And you won't be lagging behind. So again, we're speaking about fast, level up, lag. Lag is something that all gamers hate. That's when you're playing a game or you're scrolling on the internet and your computer gets a little bit stop and start. That's lagging, right? So take a moment now to kind of think about the personas that you've built out or that you should have built out in the first section of the persona building, and what kind of copy or what kind of points could you include in messaging to them that solves their problem or speaks more specifically to them. Now, the next part of this section is talking about how to write any piece of content with the correct messaging. Now we adapted a matrix or copy building matrix from Perry Marshall, who's a world famous digital marketer, and his one's a little bit more complex. I think it might have six, 7 or 8 components of it, whereas our one, we called it the persona messaging pentagram, and it has five important sections for you to consider when writing your final copy. By using the persona messaging pentagram, you'll be able to write any piece of content with the correct messaging, and it's going to increase the effectiveness of the copy. Why is this important? Well, you don't want to be writing a blog post, for example, and not have anyone read it, especially if that blog post, they can take quite a bit of time to write. Same thing with any Google ads, or this can even be true for videos. So if you're writing the kind of video script or radio script yourself, you can use this. You can write out your script, and when you're reading it on air or in the recording, you can make sure that you're touching on the key areas that your personas want to hear. And the same thing goes for billboards, right? You're paying 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 grand for a 4-week spot on a billboard. You want to make sure that whatever you're putting up there is going to be effective, right? So there's 5 sections. Firstly, there's the goal of the message. You want to understand what you're trying to achieve with this bit of copy. So if it's on a Google ad, what do you want to happen with the Google ad? Is it a Facebook post? Is it a organic post? Maybe a tweet? Is it a blog post? Okay, understand what the goal of the message is. Secondly, actually 2 and 3 is something that you should already have in the persona section. So you can just drag and drop or copy paste from there. As long as you've done it. I know some of you at home are just going to watch and not really do it as you go, but I really encourage you to follow along with these kind of exercises. So you need to know and understand what your customer likes and loves, and then what your customer worries about or hates. Step number 4, or part number 4 of the pentagram, are the benefits received from attending your show. Right, so this is benefits. This isn't the features of your show. You're not saying, we have the biggest floor space west of the Mississippi. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me. You need to take your benefit, and we'll speak about this in a bit. You need to take your benefit, turn that into common language. Don't tell me you have 100,000 square feet of expo space. Tell me that you have more room that you know what to do with, or put it into something that's easy to understand for your attendees. And then the last part of the persona messaging pentagram is understanding where the message will be distributed, and we'll get to the details in a little bit on that. Okay, to dive in a little bit more on the goal of the message. So write down what the goal is, namely who is it for and what do you want them to know, learn, and understand after reading it. Now, if it's a blog post, write down who you want to read it and what they should learn, for example. Okay, second step. What are your customer likes and loves? So you should know this in your from your persona building. Take some time if you haven't done it already. Take some time to think about, okay, what does my attendee like or love? Do they love spending all their time lining up to get into places? If they enjoy queuing, they're a little bit, I'm sure there's not too many people out there who like queuing up for stuff, but if that's what they like, then you need to understand that. If they don't like that, like most of the population, I'm guessing, if they don't like waiting around or wasting their time, you need to know that. If they don't like walking too far from their car park, you need to know that. Next step is what your customer worries about or hates. So again, pretty straightforward. If you've pulled it straight, you should be pulling this straight from your persona building. You just need to identify what they don't like, what they worry about, what they hate. For example, if you have a home show and what's something they might worry about, if your persona is a home owner, what are they feeling? Do they worry that their home might be losing value? I'm sure a lot of homeowners, I don't own any property myself, but I'm sure if you own a home, you're worried about losing value, right? The deterioration of your balcony or your roof or your wallpaper. So how do you you need to understand that so later on you can match up the benefits, which is the next step. So benefits received from attending your show or expo event. Note down what the benefits are from attending your show. Now, here's a great way of creating copy that's going to resonate with your personas. I want you to now list down all of that boring stuff that you would usually write or usually say. So write down you have lots of car parking, variety of vendors, discounted ticket offers, big show hall or big event venue, 40 years running, 50 years running, 25 years running. Write down all that boring stuff or look at what you're doing now and just write it down. Put it in a list. Okay, that's column 1. Then on column 2, start writing out why that's a benefit. So why are you saying that? Why are you saying lots of car parks? Lots of parking. Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean to an attendee? Well, it might mean easy car parking with family and disabled options. Valet is also available. Okay, so you want to put some meat on the bone, so to speak. Make it understandable. Lots of parking. Okay, cool. Is it gravel parking? Is it we parking under a tree? Is it parking in the hot sun if you're in the desert? Add a bit of meat. Add a bit of meat to these things. The second point here, variety of vendors. Meet an amazing selection of local and regional businesses. Putting meat on that bone. Step 4, where the message will be distributed. So is it copy for a blog post? Is it a web page? PR, radio, TV transcript? You need to understand the length that you're going for to kind of fit everything in. So for example, you can't write a blog post that's going to be 240 characters because that's just not good. Google likes longer blog posts for SEO purposes. So if you're trying to improve your SEO or organic ranking, you need to be writing longer blog posts. Yet on Twitter, their limit at the moment, I believe, is still 240 characters. So 240 is quite a lot to work with for Twitter versus it was smaller a year or so ago. But understanding where you're writing this message for is going to help you with your character count. Now, getting back to our Florida Food Festival, as you will have known because you've watched all the other videos in the series and you've probably read the guide as well, the Florida Food Festival has identified the 3 key personas that they want to target. And more specifically, we're speaking about the ladies' wine group. And they want to do so through Facebook. So by using the persona messaging pentagram, the festival marketing team were able to craft messages for their Facebook ads. And the Facebook posts so that they resonate with the ladies' wine group. And what they're likely to see with this better written copy is higher engagement, more likes, shares, comments on their posts, and ultimately an increase in ticket purchases from this persona. So here's a bit of the breakdown of their process. The goal of their message: they're going to run a Facebook ad that gets engagement from females 25 to 58 within a 50-mile radius of the show. They're going to highlight why they should attend with their gal pals and have a great experience. So that's the goal of their message, okay? It's quite detailed. Make sure you have a detailed goal as well. Don't just say, get in front of people. Let them know that my show's on. The customer likes, loves. They love meeting with friends, relaxing, away from the family. What they worry about or hate. They're worried about looking after the family/house in the weekend, missing sports games or other kids' weekend activities. These are mothers, these are aunts, these are sisters, or feeling a little bit selfish about spending money or spending time on herself. Now let's get to the benefits of attending the show. They get a group discount. Okay, they get, as we see down here, discount, gets 6+ tickets for a great price. They taste lots of different food and drinks. There's easy transportation, and you're going to have a fun weekend out. And as we said at the start, the message distribution channel is Facebook ads. So they came up with the ad below, and it's one of several ads that they're going to plan to run to the ladies' wine group persona. And the great thing about many online marketing channels is you can test different aspects of an ad. So you can test different images, different video, copy, headlines, descriptions, and you can find out what your personas and audiences really respond to. So the Florida Food Festival marketing team, they did this, or they would run 4 different ad types and turn off the ones that aren't producing the results they want, whether that's engagement, clicks, like, shares, clicks through to the website, or clicks on the get offer button, ticket purchases, whatever key metric they have. They pause the ones that aren't really working. So that's a wrap up on section 4 with messaging. Really take your time here, dig into this pentagram, the persona messaging pentagram, understanding and writing out each of the 5 sections, bullet pointed out, and then you're able to put those bullet points kind of together and craft your copy that way. It's a bit more of a scientific method or a step-by-step method, rather than just sitting down at your computer and typing out that blog post or that Facebook ad. Okay, so that wraps up our section on messaging. Let's go to the next step, which is conversion tracking. I'll see you in the next video.